What's going on, y'all? This is old Buck Carolina Crazy Outdoors. Before we get into the video, I want to thank every one of y'all who tune in. I really hope y'all enjoy the videos I put out. And now I want to thank my sponsors. JC's Outdoors, all your hunting and fishing needs. Live bait, guns, archery and apparel, serving breakfast and lunch. Flight Deck Restaurant, voted best family restaurant in Lexington. Great food, homemade desserts with a perfect blend of Southern and Greek flavor. Huge arcade to entertain the kids. Priceless Country Store, all your feed and seed needs, from dogs to horses and many animals in between. Fence supplies, livestock, accessories, and gardening. Twin City Concrete, for all your concrete needs. They pour driveways, slabs for porches, and shops and sidewalks. Car Craps Tire, all things tires, passenger, commercial, and farm machinery. They also do brakes and oil changes. Warren's Landscaping Services, everyday lawn care and maintenance, lighting, irrigation systems, and water features. Proudly serving Lexington and Gilbert for over 24 years. Tommy Corley Trapping offers coyote trapping lessons. If you have a coyote problem, he can fix it. Sticks Baits, soft bait fishing lures, homemade molds made for bass fishing. Water Days, comfortable apparel for your day on the water. Proceeds provide swimming lessons and boater safety courses to minimize water tragedy. Anything you buy at Water Days, you'll get a 15% off if you use my code CAROCRAZY15. What's up, y'all? This is old Buck here. Really excited. Got another South Carolina monster buck here. My buddy Casey was the lucky one, fortunate one, however you want to say it. He got it. But anyway, before we get into this deer, we're going to just do some random talk. First of all, how about them Gamecocks?
How about them? Pulling out another W last night.
Well, they come in here and dominated Florida. Then the next Saturday, they look like they hadn't never touched a football. And then they come in here to Missouri, and it's looking like that again, 14-0, Missouri. And next thing you know, we come out with a win.
Yep, typical Gamecocks. You know, they beat a team they're not supposed to, and then they blow the next week, and
yeah,
now they're back on track hopefully and get one more win against the Tigers next weekend.
I'm going to the bowl game. We got 6 wins now. I'm going to the bowl game. I'm going to go, because you never know. It might be 10 years till we get to go to another bowl game.
Yeah, well, it may be another one down in Florida somewhere like they have the past few years. So not too far to go.
If I go to Florida, I'm going to live it up. But, you know, Casey, I've known him all my life. You know, our mom and dad, they grew up together. From what I understand, they went skinny dipping one time at Larry King Boat Ramp.
They've probably done a lot of things we still don't know about.
That's an awkward thought. But, you know, we played when we were little. They'd be barbecuing and stuff like that. I remember those little 3-wheel things. We used to get up on that big hill and roll down. It's a wonder we didn't get killed, honestly. Because, you know, if we weren't running 30, 40 mile an hour going down there, we weren't running a mile an hour at all.
No.
But anyway, like I said, I've known him all my life, and I'm really glad he got this buck. Happy for him. Well, let's rewind. When did this all start? I know this was a pursuit.
This deer started the pursuit, I'm going to say back in 2019. I got a few pictures in November of a deer walking through, eating acorns under a big red oak, and that was 2 or 3 pictures of him. And then I got some later in December of the same deer. He never was close, but he had that tight, tall frame to him, and I knew he was a big deer. And I never saw him that year. The pictures kind of diminished, and then roll around to last year, 20. Same deer come through, same time of year, same trees, never on corn anywhere, never got near a corn pile, never thought about it. And
that's interesting.
Yeah.
Because number one, that tells me that he's probably passing through looking for does or something if he ain't on a food source there. You know what I'm saying?
Oh yeah.
You know, that's just.
I don't think I was his summer fall range, but I think fall he would come through looking for early does and estrich, or just kind of his home, kind of his rut area, so to speak. And I got the same kind of pictures of 20 of him in the fall there. November-ish, late November, around Thanksgiving, I got the first pictures of him. And then he disappeared for a couple weeks into December, and then I had cameras still up I forgot about on the property into January, and I got pictures of him, so I knew he was still alive out after deer season.
Right.
So
no pictures in velvet or nothing like that?
No velvet pictures, no any summertime pictures of this deer.
Pretty much what that tells him is, what he means by summertime pictures is, you know, when you put cameras up and they're on a food source and you got them in velvet, them deer are more than likely 99% of the time, that's their home.
Yep.
You know, and that's your summer pictures you're going to get with them in velvet. He had none of that, so that definitely was that deer's home, you know.
No.
And he starts popping up in the fall, in the winter. Chances are somebody else is hunting this buck in August, because our season comes in August 15th. Didn't get him. He winds up on your land, cruising for days. It's pretty much what it all boils down to.
Yep. See, this deer was killed in the upper state of South Carolina, so bow season comes in up there September 15th.
Right,
so
right.
So we have a later start of the season, so he got a little bit longer to live if he was chased at all, if anybody even knew he was around.
Well, that's awesome. Let's look at the rack. I mean, it's a mainframe 10. It's a 140-inch deer, easy. It's, you know, if you have people to sit behind of a deer, they'll hold the rack like way out there like that right there, and they'll be sitting at the butt end.
Yeah.
Yeah.
You gotta cop them out.
Yeah, as you notice, me and him's pretty much sitting parallel with the buck. I mean, that rack, it is what it is. I mean, there's no ground shrinkage here.
No, there was definitely not.
It's an awesome deer. So, you started out hunting this deer. Was there ever a point when you thought, you know, you wasn't gonna see him again from year to year?
Well, this year, you know, he was always there in the back of my mind. Just this big, tight frame deer I had that never had close pictures of him, but knew it was. I was in the back of my head. I thought it was the same deer. Well, this year rolls in, start running cameras 1st of September, getting some decent deer. Start moving some cameras around on some places where I had got him in the past. Well, come about the end of September, I get a picture of him. He shed his velvet. He looks just like he does now. And
chocolate rack.
Chocolate, very, very recognizable. He had a notch in his ear on this side. He's got this big palmation on this side. Very noticeable, and he's pretty regular on a pattern. He's eating acorns into October. He daylights numerous mornings. Then he kind of disappeared for a couple weeks until the week before I killed him. I knew I knew I was in his home range, fall-wise, rut-wise, and I had about a 20-acre pine thicket behind where I was getting pictures of him that I had bush hogged in this past year. I made my way in there in September, getting ready for deer season. And I just wanted to get in there and try to get just one little trail across it. Did that, so I decided to go up there and look around. And I found 2 or 3 scrapes in the trail. Threw up a camera, came back the next week, checked it. He was on there 2 different mornings, checking them scrapes. At 9 o'clock, at 10:15.
Oh man, broad daylight.
Yep, broad daylight, perfect, mid-morning. And I had pictures of him on other cameras kind of earlier before that, so I knew he was close in there.
Right.
And I took that Friday off and that Monday and hunted that whole weekend, hoping to see him, trying to get in, kind of pushed a little hard, got aggressive, hunted in that thicket, and never saw him. I saw some other deer, saw some other good young bucks, but he was all I was wanting.
Pretty much, were you hunting a climber or a regular stand?
I got regular stands on this property. I've been hunting it my entire life, but as things have changed on the property, I've kind of moved stands around, and I knew it's about 140 acre piece of private property, but it's like on the back side of it.
Canes everywhere.
Canes and
y'all wonder how did I guess that? Let me tell him something real quick. You probably know this. When he was running around in diapers, I was sitting in that deer stand where them canes are. Your daddy put me in it. Anyway, I think that's pretty cool because, you know, our daddy told me, he's like, yeah, there's a bunch of canes. And I'm like, so there's a bunch of canes behind the deer stand? He's like, oh yeah, thick. And I'm like, yeah, you can't really see through them. And he said, yep. And I'm like, I sit in that stand. Yep. There's a stand right there.
Yep. There was 3 stands that was in this area. I was thinking he was kind of hanging out in. So I had hunted the one in the thicket that morning, that weekend, thinking I'd catch him coming them trails, checking them scrapes again. Well, he never showed. thought I maybe was too aggressive. Maybe he smelt me, done got out of Dodge. So then I hunted that Monday morning, and I hunted on the edge of it where I thought maybe I'd catch him slipping in there that morning. Didn't see him, hunted till lunchtime. I was dedicated to sitting as long as I could. Sat till lunchtime, got down, checked a few cameras. He wasn't on any of them. So I decided to sit a very faithful stand. I've killed a lot of big deer in that evening. And it was like magic walking in there at 2 o'clock. I was bumping deer everywhere. Kind of regretting maybe going in there because I was bumping deer, but I was committed. So got in the stand, and immediately deer started flowing back in. Acorns, it was just a big oak ridge in there, big oaks. They were raining. The deer just started coming in everywhere. And the evening rolled in fast. And I had 3 or 4 does in front of me, I think 4 and to my right, and then I had a big bush hog lane that I could see probably about 100 yards to the end of it, and the deer like to cross at the end of it. And I had a big, I call them big alpha doe. She was standing out there just dead staring at me. Probably felt like forever. And I knew there was no way she could see me or smell me because my wind was in my face. And she stood there. And then inside the corner of my eye, I caught something coming out of them canes. And I knew without a doubt it was him. Just tall, dark deer, mainframe. And I just went to mush. And he come out and he stopped perfect broadside. And there was one little tree beside the stand that I had to try to get a shot around. So I had to stand up in the stand. It's a big box stand, so I had plenty of room, and I had to kind of squat in an awkward angle and hold the gun out around the shooting post, and I made the shot, and he dropped.
Dropped his tracks.
Yeah, I dropped him.
So I know you say your dad, he taught you everything you know in the woods.
Yep, he sure did.
I'm sure he had a major part to play in all this.
Oh yeah, I know that evening getting in the stand, I just had always take my hat off and always say a little prayer and just thank God for everything and for being able to chase these animals. I mean, there's no greater thing just to be a part of hunting, and especially deer hunting, and growing up in them woods with my dad, and you know, he got into hunting with your granddaddy.
Yeah.
And the stories they could tell, my God, cool. They hunted just as old school as it was. They didn't wear camo, and they didn't sit in stands. They sat on the ground, or just however they could do it. Rifles with no scopes, and I loved hearing the stories they could tell.
It was pure vintage.
Oh yeah.
I mean, if there ever was vintage hunting, they did it. I mean, they did it. I mean,
yeah. And dog hunting and all that kind of stuff they did together.
Yep. They did. I mean, if you name it, they did it. They supported all legal means of hunting. They dog hunted. They had a great time. And like I said, it wasn't about wearing $200 outfits or camouflage. No. You know, it just wasn't. It
was what you could afford, and they didn't. Management wasn't a thing back in them days. It was shoot a deer and be excited. And I'm still that way. I'm say tomorrow I won't go out and shoot a cow horn or something, but you know, as I've gotten older, I enjoy more of watching them, and it's all in the moment. And if I got my kids with me, or if I'm taking somebody, it's all. That's what I tell people. It ain't about, you know, don't bash other people for shooting little deer. It's all about getting to know the story behind it, or what makes them excited.
So many people were so quick to judge.
Oh yeah.
You know, I don't have nothing against trophy hunting. I don't, but it's the people that degrade everybody else who don't take it as serious as they do.
Oh yeah.
You know, I mean, I considered myself a trophy hunter. You know, go look at my wall. I mean, I do. However, I respect everybody who don't do it. And I'm gonna tell you right now, what I think about dropping the old trigger on one that is a 4-point ain't nothing.
Yeah.
I'm taking my little girl, and I'm mainly my nephew White this afternoon. If a buck walks out, guess what's probably gonna happen? It ain't gonna have nothing to do with inches. I'm gonna let that boy smack him. You know, and you know, I go on the dog drive. I'm gonna let the dog eat. I mean, I wish people were more supportive. I mean, it's actually very disappointed at hunting now. there's so many hunters out there. It's just they've just lost what is the meaning of what it's all about.
Oh, yeah.
I just don't understand. But
the best advice is to tell them to get with some old timers and listen to their stories and how we got to where we are now, in my opinion.
That's right. That's exactly right. So tell me about, you shot deer, you dropped his tracks, heart's pumping 1,000 mile an hour, you climbed down. Tell me what happened when you walked over there and all that good stuff.
I knew the deer. I knew it was the deer I was after. I mean, when he came out, since losing my dad in 2019, just that feeling, the desire to deer hunt was there, but it was lost just because he was my right hand man, and I shot and my heart was racing, and that feeling that you get when you see a big buck, that buck fever, that adrenaline was there, and it was what I had been missing for. I mean, I've killed a couple of nice bucks in the past few years since he's passed, but it was just a surreal moment, and I climbed down and I saw him, and I lost my composure. I started crying, and the first person I wanted to call and tell was him, but I knew he was there, and I was able to. I called my wife. She's my next. She was the next one, so I called her and let her listen to me cry like a little girl on the phone and talk about this deer.
It's so wild how something an animal can just get you worked up.
Oh yeah, I mean, so much goes into it that a lot of people don't realize. Even if it's a smaller buck, I mean, it's a lot of money and time and lost sleep, and I have to drive an hour and 15 minutes to get to this place, and it's a lot, and just lost sleep and money, but it's worth it. It's a hobby, and you put in what you get out of it.
That's it. That's exactly right. Well, I mean, here's how it is for me too. You talk about it. You finally got this buck. You want him so bad. But there's always bittersweetness to it. And what I mean by that, like that humongous 6-point. If y'all watch my YouTube channel, you'll see the one my brother killed. I mean, one of the biggest 6 points you're ever going to see. 7-year-old buck. I've had him on camera since he was this big. Literally, it's probably his first rack. And it got bigger and bigger. And next thing you know, it's a monster 6-point, 200 pounds, But it's still bittersweet because when the chapter ends, it's like, man, it's over, So now you got to regroup, and hopefully another monster pops up, and you can start a new chapter.
Oh yeah, I mean, a lot of people after friends and stuff are like, "Well, what do you do now?" I mean, I'm like, I was in the stand yesterday morning. I mean, it ain't gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep going. But I got down and went to go check cameras, and I'm like, well, I don't got to try to see if Big Boy's still around. Now what?
Yeah, no, I did. I think my dad told me, didn't you miss one a week or two before this?
About 2 weeks before I shot him, I missed a big buck in the same stand, same area, way out in front of me. It wasn't a deer I recognized either. He was just and you're gonna have that.
Passing through.
Yeah, just coming through. I didn't recognize him, but when I saw him, I knew he was a big deer, and I took a shot at him, and he come out. I didn't have a lot of time because he was in them canes, just creeping through. He got by me, and he circled back around and came back into the same spot he was, and I had a pretty good little hole there I could shoot through, and made a quick little shot, and I watched him run off top of the hill. Kind of figured the way he run off. I didn't hit him, but I mean, I went out there and checked and looked, and no sign of anything. So just a good old clean miss.
Hey,
it's gonna happen too.
Yeah, if you hunt long enough, I mean, it's gonna happen.
Oh yeah.
Nobody's above.
And if it don't happen to you, I want to meet you because I want to know what that's like.
I'm gonna shake your hand. What kind of rifle do you shoot?
I have a Savage 308. So Dad bought me that gun a couple years ago. I always wanted a 308, and he bought
smaller caliber.
Yep.
You know what? I gotta go here. I shoot a 270, and I'm gonna tear it down. You watch my YouTube channel, I can get worked up about this thing. But these guys, and it ain't everybody. If you shoot a 300 or a 7 mag, I'm all good. But the ones that do that and they talk smack about people that shoot a 270, 308, and 243, listen, them rifles do the job.
Oh yeah.
If it's only you if you ain't putting the bullet where it's supposed to go.
I've shot them all. I've had a 300 for years, and I've shot deer with it, and they run off 200-300 yards.
Yeah.
I've shot 30-06.
Yep.
I've shot just about every caliber, and
yeah,
it's all about you and where you put that bullet.
People don't get that though. It just blows my mind. You know, if you can't get the job done with a 270, it ain't the rifle. I've killed a lot of deer with the same rifle I've been shooting since I was 16 years old, and I'll die shooting that rifle.
Oh yeah.
You know, and all them ones that are on the wall, guess what? 270 Ruger. Y'all know the one.
Oh yeah.
But yeah, I always got to go. I done an interview with a 12-year-old the other day, and I was like, yeah, he's probably shooting a small caliber rifle. I walked in there and it looked like a darn elephant gun laying there. I was like, my gosh. So I wasn't able to poke fun at, at anybody. But,
yeah.
But this one, he was a cool kid, killed 2 monster bucks. But dude, I hope you see another monster on camera, because I love seeing these big bucks. And ever since I started doing the YouTube thing, I've really got to put my hands on some incredible deer. You know, y'all seen the 170-inch 10-point I done last year. That was a monster buck.
That was about the biggest one killed in the state.
That is the biggest one killed in the state of South Carolina last year, and I think it's in the top 5 all time. Typical racks. Man, the old timer that killed it just made my day. Beer down to here, just as humble as he could be about it. Reminded me of Grant.
Our family members probably had overalls on when he shot the deer.
That's right. I mean, just a cool guy, and he's just an awesome fella. But well, man, I appreciate you sitting down. We've been doing this. I love looking at these bruisers, and hopefully next year we can do another one with you.
Oh yeah, nothing's gonna stop me. I'm gonna keep at it, and now trying to get the kids involved, and that's my biggest goal now is taking my little girl, and she's already all in, and I let her make the decisions when she's with me. So
her little girl's out there probably right now with my little girl and little boy playing Fox and the Hound.
Oh yeah.
But that's the thing, man. Getting kids involved. I mean, with all this YouTube stuff going on, I've really got to go on some neat experiences. I was a couple weeks ago. I was in Walterboro and on a big plantation down there hunting with kids that had cancer and disabilities. And I'm gonna tell you right now, man, you get your kids out there and get them in it. If you know somebody that ain't got access to hunting, carry them hunting. If you know a kid that's got cancer or disabled and they just ain't got the means to go, carry them. I mean, they love that stuff.
Yep. That's what it's really about.
Yeah.
I mean, this is part of it, but I mean, when you people die and go, all this stuff is the memories you can make with people and kids, and that's truly what matters.
That's right. That's exactly right. I tell everybody about them deer on the wall. I said, all them inches in there on that wall, none of it matter to me.
Yeah.
Not one of them have I had scored it in the book. I could care less.
You probably got a little cow horn or 3-point that means more to you.
The most important deer in that house. And if people walk in my house, they're like, what's your favorite deer? And I mean, the deer in there I got on my wall.
Oh yeah.
Lots of them, 17 of them. And I always point up to the one right there above the turkey display. It's a 85-pound 7-point with a rack that big. It was the first deer I ever killed. And that was the most important deer I ever killed, because that right there fired me up, and I never lost the love of deer hunting.
Oh yeah.
Them big deer in there, it was great. I'm thankful for them. But at the end of the day, that little 7-point, none of them are as more important as that deer.
Wouldn't have had none of them without that one.
Absolutely. So, inches is great. Don't get me wrong, but at the end of the day, it's about the experience, the memories, and people need to remember that. They really do. They get too caught up in inches.
Yep.
But don't get me wrong. Like I said, this is something we're proud of.
That's a peak moment right here.
You're proud of this deer, and I'm proud of it. But we both know, there's small bucks out there. We'll pop. We'll let the kids pop them. I mean, man, you got to get them psyched up. You start taking them and letting them go and go and go and go and go and not shoot. I mean, they're gonna lose interest.
Oh, yeah.
Man, you got to get them excited. That's right.
Because they already got short attention span.
You're right about that. But dude, I appreciate this. I really do. I know your dad is psyched about this. He's not here physically, but he's here.
Oh yeah.
But and I know he's smiling about all this.
I know he's bragging and showing everybody around.
You know, his dad married me and my wife.
And your mom and dad are actually my godparents. So
That's right. That's right. That's exactly right. There's a lot of connections there.
Mm-hmm.
But anyway, we're gonna wrap this thing up, man. You got anything else you want to say?
I don't think so. Just get out there and get involved in the community, kids or whatever. If you love hunting, that's the next generation of it.
And if you're 30 or 40 years old and want to get into hunting, don't be scared to ask somebody.
It's never too late.
It ain't never too late. That right there is why you don't judge somebody that shot a 7-point that big because they're 50 years old. That might have been his first deer he ever killed.
Oh yeah.
So you always know
it meant more to him than this deer does.
Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. All righty. Well, look, y'all have a good one. I hope y'all enjoy what I'm putting out. I appreciate all the comments. I engage in all of it. Got some really cool stuff coming up. I know a lot of you are really excited about the kids. Some of those videos with Miss Sally, you know, she's handicapped and got some things going on. She's about to have a surgery. So y'all keep her in your prayers. From what I understand, they got to break both of her legs, and to fix some other things that's going on. And think about the kids with cancer, because I was just around a lot of them the other day, and that will humble you really quick when you see that, because makes you realize just how good you got it. We can go as we please, and them kids is fighting every day. So, but anyway, well, y'all have a good one, and we'll see y'all next time.